Joe, welcome to Furniture Success Podcast.
Hey, Ahmet, thanks for having me. Very excited to dive into everything with you.
Thanks for joining us today. Could you share a little bit about your background and what led you to the commercial office furniture industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So, we are an office furniture dealer. So, we fit out commercial spaces for commercial clients. Um, yeah, basically, we just want to talk to people, look at their floor plan with them, and then help them decide what do they do. Right? I mean, it's very difficult to get high quality commercial furniture into a building. Um, it's just short of rocket science. I don't think it
Mhm.
needs to be, but in our industry, it very much is. And that's why a lot of the industry very much relies on the dealer network to get anything done. The manufacturers need us. The rep groups don't like touching projects. A lot of them have told me that they've tried to do them before and they're like, absolutely not. We bring in a dealer every time because there's just so many moving parts. So you have all of these end users with office managers and facilities teams that just kind of get a project dumped on the desk and they're like, how do I get furniture
Mhm.
and make it look good, and not have a disaster. And so, as much as Amazon's great at many things, Amazon furniture, not so much.
Mhm.
Staples, I would probably say also not so much. That stuff doesn't last very long. IKEA, same thing. Great for the residential market. They've built amazing businesses around speed and, lightweight packaging. But when it comes to getting something durable, you really have to turn to the dealer market to understand what you're getting, how to source it, and you know, yeah, and just going through the process of even installing it to make sure that the warranties are there, the
Mhm.
right product if it's damaged can get RMA'd. Um, that's the I mean, who no one has time for that. Like we represent 400 plus manufacturers and like millions of SKUs. And so the easiest thing is for people to just ask like, hey, how do I get a desk? What kind of desk can I get for this much dollars? Um,
Mhm.
that's where we come in and, just a high level overview. That's really where the dealer fits into the market. And that's the kind of service that we're providing to end users.
Mhm. And like commercial office interiors has been in business for a while. And how did you get started? Like, was that like a coincidence or it was like your dream job? How did you get started?
Yeah. So what's funny is, you know, with this industry, it was kind of explained to me that it's like the mafia. Once you're in, you can never leave. And I was like, okay. I was like, I didn't really buy that. But that is in fact what happens. And so we worked for another dealer. My business partner and I worked for another gentleman. He had a
Mhm.
private dealer and get very eclectic man, like very cool, quirky, um, hardcore entrepreneur. And what was really interesting was he just kind of brought us into this whole world. And,
Mhm.
as we were kind of learning about it, it kind of just became attractive in its own way. And we end up just getting drawn into the business model. And it's really cool working with a lot of just unique businesses. And
Mhm.
that was really the fun part. Like, I can't say that we are in love with furniture. Like, no one wakes up and it's like, "Oh my gosh, like furniture." I'm sure there's designers that do, but, from our perspective, it was really like, man, we get to work with some really cool clients and, um, furniture is our service and building spaces that are productive for people is like the problem that we solve. So,
Mhm.
yeah, it just ended up being one of those things we got sucked in and, um, as you started doing it, at first it was like, man, like what even is this industry? There's no like instruction manual for it. It's so unique and like niche.
Mhm.
Um, and then it quickly turned into like, well, how do we start doing it better? And how do we provide more value and become more efficient? And my partner and I were both outsiders to the industry, which I think can honestly be in some cases an advantage because you have fresh eyes, you have you know, no preset dispositions or opinions on how things should be. It's just all How should we do it?
Mhm.
And starting from the ground up like that is really interesting because you get to just reverse engineer how things work and then decide how it's going to work for you. And I think we've done a great job of becoming efficient as a company. So, um, yeah, it just started with, hey, do you want to, I don't know, work at a small dealer, and then it turned into
Mhm.
how do we do it better? And then the owner actually ended up passing away, and that was the turning point. Um, I was working with him on improving the business model, and my now business partner was running all of the operations. So, we went from just kind of being like coworkers to when John had passed away, I was like, well, I have a blueprint for a pretty good way to run a dealer. And he's like, I have clients calling and we have some projects to fulfill. So between the two of us, it was like, shoot, are we gonna do this? Or are we gonna go work for Chipotle? So
Mhm. Mhm.
it just seemed to be one of those things. Is like, yeah, I mean, we knew we had 90 days covered for stuff that was like coming in immediately, and it's like, well, we'll just go for it, I guess. And so yeah, that's the COI origin story.
Mhm. Mhm. So you are involved in creating customized office environments. What do you think sets your approach to commercial interiors apart from others in the industry? What makes you different than others?
That's really interesting. I think it kind of comes down to at least what we've noticed is, um, being able to be a turnkey solution for an end user. It
Mhm.
very much depends on the size of the company. They need different things, but there is, you know, I think just a market for the small business owner that just needs to get stuff done. And that is, uh, you know, I would say it's one of the target markets that we fulfill very well is, that team, that person that's like, I have no clue what I'm doing. And they just get dropped on that project. And we end up becoming a best friend to them. So
Mhm.
it's just being able to manage a lot of moving parts for them and be able to fulfill on all of them. So, we have a partner in house with us with $1 million of equipment just dedicated towards interior and exterior graphics and signage. So that alone, right? Like, I mean, how do we just get our logos in the space? Questions like that, all of a sudden you very quickly need like 5 different contractors to do stuff. We try
Mhm.
to just simplify that down for them and, you know, bring it to as simple of a process as possible. And that ends up, it's not necessarily what the biggest guys always need. We approach them a little different, but um, a lot of dealers target the largest companies. And, you know, um, being a small business ourselves, I mean, I love I love engaging with and working with the other small business owners. It's just the backbone for the US economy, truly. So,
Mhm.
um, being able to work with them is awesome. And that's like, we've made it so that it's very easy to do. So for us, it's simple. Um, More of the work goes into the bigger clients, which we love working with them as well. We have some great one on the global 500. We have some
Mhm.
awesome clients, but their needs tend to be different because they have that full facilities team. They have procurement. You know, small business guy doesn't have that. He's just like, yo, I got a space. My lease is coming up. I got to move or do this. Like, I just need something to do here. And with that, it's different. They don't want to pay 50K in design fees to
Mhm.
to then start talking about furniture. So yeah, it's a different marketplace, and I think a lot of those jobs I think fall through with the biggest dealers because it's not worth it to pursue, which absolutely makes sense when you get to that economy of scale. Um,
Mhm.
but for us, it's like, I mean, I don't know. I think we'll always love working with them, and um, I don't think we necessarily want to get past the point where it's no longer like worth it to work with the small business owners because those guys are a lot of fun to work with. Like, they're just great people. Um,
Mhm.
so it's very much like us and where we came from, and I just love that. So, um, it's kind of like it's fun stuff too. I love working with those
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. And your approach makes it cost effective, faster, reasonable for small businesses as well. Yep.
Yes,
It's
yes.
perfect. Yeah. And in the commercial office furniture space, what do you think are the most significant changes and trends you you've seen over the years? Like you may think about the COVID time, after COVID, during COVID, now tariffs, you know, and how has your business adapted to these shifts?
Well, that's a very interesting question. I like that. I think if we start with the 2020 era, the work from
Hmm.
home, that was I can't believe you work for a furniture dealer. Shouldn't you guys be out of business? Like, that was crazy. But things you just have to adapt. And I mean, you're in business as well. I mean, like if you don't adapt to market conditions, then it becomes very hard to stay in business. I mean, the
Correct.
best guys have to be flexible and adaptable. And,
Yes.
it went from selling a bunch of new cubicles to, well, everyone needs plexiglass. And then it was like decommissions and getting ready for hybrid work models. So it it wasn't like there wasn't stuff to do. It just, for us, became big labor jobs, and it became, a lot of PET and, space dividing type solutions. And, you know, then it turned into co-working stations or, sorry, hybrid work setups to
Mhm.
accommodate smaller spaces. But when you downsize, then it's decommissioning projects. So there was still work to do. It just, I mean, it just wasn't necessarily always new furniture. Um, and
Yeah.
I will throw out there, when a big company left a big space to go to a small space, there was still a smaller company who was crushing it in COVID. And
Yeah.
they're like, we need to expand. And they opt into that space. So it, we still did cube farms in COVID. And that was something that people would assume never happened. But no, I think one of our larger cube jobs we ever worked on was in the middle of that COVID era. And it's like, I mean, you know, things changed. So that was like COVID. A little after that period, the co-working model, things bounced back pretty quickly. I mean, you
Mhm.
know, the industry in general had a declining trend. It was contracting as an industry, but um, I would consider us like we're not the biggest fish in the sea. So for us, I mean, we were growing. Um, we were still cruising along, and every project's a win. So well, we saw our growth. We went back to doing more projects. I mean, you kind of just have to get after it. And so, yeah, we saw our growth, and we've now we moved into our we moved for the third time now, and we have our warehousing space. So we're kind of like much more set up now. And we're ironing out process and really dialing in. So, you know, it worked for us, and
Mhm.
definitely like praise God for that. But it worked, and it's been in motion. Um,
Mhm.
Looking into the future, what the interesting conversation is what AI could do to the industry, and talking to some of the guys that are working on the industry level solutions and the kind of stuff they want to bring to the table. Um, there's some software out there right now that's partnering with certain manufacturers. And what they're trying to accomplish is basically take all of it gets into like the techie side of things, but, you know, all of the data that goes into the 3D products, right? Like they want to figure out, okay, what if you just put a floor plan into the software, click the shuffle button, like shuffle, 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 and then you got to see different types of spaces based on budget parameters, design parameters, and have it pull info from product data from manufacturers and show you a space that could
Mhm.
build a bomb for you and assign a price to it so that you can hop on with a client and just go, yeah, give us your floor plan, shuffle, shuffle. How about this? Oh, it has to be less. Okay, new budget, shuffle, shuffle. You see what I mean? So Um, it's out there.
Yeah.
They're trying to do it, and when it comes to cubicles, like, um, stuff gets very complicated because the amount of parts involved. But,
Mhm.
you know, I think that in the future, there will be more technology that will require less employees to function a dealer model, and you'll end up with a shuffle feature that
Mhm.
can accomplish a lot in very little time. Um, you know, I've heard some people say that it's actually bad for the industry, and I think it's bad for the biggest fish in the industry. But that's all part of the business game.
Yeah.
You fight your way to the top, and then you just have to defend your title, and everybody else is always just trying to, bite
Chasing
off
you.
some, yeah,
Yeah.
try to get some market share. So
Yep.
y- we'll see. Everyone says, AI, AI. It's not quite there yet, but there's an argument to be made that, and some companies are showing that it is possible. Uh, but we'll see if it sticks. I don't think the
Yep.
designers will like it.
Yep. Yep. And what role does customization play in your business? Like it's huge for you, I know that, but you know, so and how do you ensure that clients' specific needs are met when designing office spaces?
That oftentimes comes down to, I think, being good about asking the right questions. Um, when we talk to clients, it's kind of like, I really just want them to tell us their story. Like, what's the story? Like, what do you got going on here? Like, let's dive into it. And as we talk through it, the different priorities start to kind of come out when it's like, is this about headcount? Or do we just need to fit some engineers in a back room for them to smash on stuff? And you need like a really good front entrance, right? Because you're bringing clients in.
Yep.
Um, that's the kind of stuff that we start to get at. And then it's like, you kind of just have to be good at listening for that flavor of what the client needs, and
Mhm.
then being able to translate that into a furniture spec, fabrics, finishes, lead times, right? Based on the speed, and just knowing like, what do they, what are they actually asking for? Because when they get on, it's like, I need this. And it's like, usually not really. Like, when you dive into it, it's like, actually, no. What you really need is this other thing. And we'll show you. And then they're like, oh yeah, 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 that thing, that's what I need. So it's kind of about being able to ask the right questions that get you to the point where like we're on the same page, because we start off with very like, you have an idea in your head. We're
Mhm.
thinking about furniture. We got to be able to take your idea and your growth plan and translate that into like chairs and stuff. So it's taken it takes a lot of time to have a good ear for that, to be honest. You got to know product, you got to know what your manufacturer's capabilities are, and then just realistically what the market is looking for based on the size of
Mhm.
the company, like that kind of stuff, and being able to hear all of that, and then be like, okay, this is what we're going to propose because it's statistically most likely what you're looking for.
Mhm.
That's kind of, I think, where it takes some seasoning, but you know, with
Yep.
enough time, I think that's what we listen for.
Mhm. And it is also an upselling opportunity for you as well, right? You show the value and what they need, and then you sell more, and they become more happy because they see what they want, and
Yep.
it's more value, more revenue, and both sides are happy. That's the perfect way of doing things. Business with especially like corporates and also like small businesses as well. And my next question is like, how do you approach sustainability in your business? Because like it's not just brand new furniture for you. You also help businesses wanna, downsize their office and yeah.
Yeah, that's a big question in the industry, because furniture waste is a big problem. And
Yeah.
as companies get larger, they have to report on their emissions. And then you look into the scope 3 emissions, and real quick, you have tons of CO2 being accounted for because you're throwing away furniture.
Mhm.
And, you know, the crazy part is that there it's fine. Like, the
Yeah.
furniture is fine. Like, we do a great job doing furniture as an industry. It's indestructible, and we just trash it for no reason. So, um, yeah, one of our solutions was, um, we wanna find a way to like, what do we do about the waste and the garbage and the excess trash that we don't need? Um, we're one of 10 dealers in the country right now that can actually help clients sell up to 18% of their furniture assets and recoup the value that they've already spent. So what that looks like is basically instead of paying to buy it, paying to
Mhm.
install it, and then paying for the labor and the fees to trash it and getting hit with the emissions uh, accounting for that as well. Now, what we're trying to help clients do is when they have all of that furniture that they paid for, we want to see if we can help them resell it. And then
Mhm.
in the process of that, now they're they're keeping waste out of landfills. So there's a benefit there. If we're able to resell it for them, that means someone's buying it off of them. So now their cost for removal is zero, if not plus 80,000. And in some cases, we have a really good case study where it was plus 200 grand. um, the asset value was around 600,000 for the furniture, and they got plus 200,000 back. And it's like, man, that covered all of the fees to remove, get rid of it. And now you're left with 200 grand, which is like a nice little piggy bank that you can roll into the next project. So,
Yep.
you know, by it's good that, and again, you can't do that with Amazon furniture because there's no resale value. So
Yep.
now we're turning furniture into more of like, a short-term investment that, you know, aiming for that productivity and that quality of life at the office space. There's, instead of having to pay to just trash it all, now you can actually kind of like roll that value into the next project. And um, it's, I think finally the marketplace is catching up to the reality of there's value in the furniture. So we're able to capture that value and effectively market it so that people can come in, other dealers and designers can spec Second Life furniture. And now for their targets for lead, right? So they want to get like, lead platinum. Well, if you're using Second Life furniture instead of manufactured furniture, there's now less CO2 emissions with Second Life than there is manufacturing brand new furniture. And I mean, let's face it, do we need to just make new furniture every single project, or is there good quality stuff out there? Like, so that's the
Yep.
idea, is basically facilitating arbitrage between the biggest companies buying the most expensive stuff
Yep.
and the mid-tier market that's like, we just need high quality furniture. Like, okay, well, what if I can get that to you at liquidation price? Um, so it's a win-win for everyone, and
Yep.
it's benefiting the environment as well. So it's like it's kind of a no-brainer. Um, so yeah, it's right on our website. We have a marketplace where companies can come in and shop
Yep.
and buy stuff straight from the biggest companies and get it
Mhm.
lightly used. Um, Stuff looks brand new, and
Mhm.
I mean, it's in great condition. It's like, why not? I mean, so for that kind of price, it just works for everybody, and it's a brilliant design. We've tried to do it as simple as possible, and our team is what goes in and handles the reverse logistics. So we manage that whole process. Companies just have to help us list their stuff, and we do the listing for them, and then
Mhm.
we can help find the buyers, and we get the furniture to them. So it's like nobody even has to do anything. They're just like shopping and trying to sell stuff and pressing buttons. And
Mhm.
we handle all of it, and they get a full scope 3 emissions report for their sustainability team that basically says, like, yeah, this is how much CO2 we've saved. So, I mean, even the reporting is right there. So very seamless design. Very few people in the country can do that, and that's like an interesting specialty that we carry along with the other stuff, um,
Mhm.
that, we're hoping will pay out dividends going into the future for just the environment and the marketplace in general.
Yep, yep. And I really like your website, commercialofficeinteriors.com. And like definitely if you need a furniture, office furniture, guys, like you can just hit used furniture and there's tons of options over there. Like it's huge. Yeah.
Yes.
I was surprised by your, used furniture, marketplace. It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's a work in progress. Our platform right now, there's a lot of stuff we're trying to add to it. And we want to leverage technology to make everything simpler for people. You know, our motto or our value proposition or our value statement, a mission statement. That's what I'm looking for. Thank you. Our mission statement is to simplify the furniture buying process for those end users. So if we can use technology to do that and lower the cost to acquire it and save the environment, like we're checking a lot of good boxes. And I'm hoping that it becomes a useful tool for the business market to figure out the whole furniture thing. That's our goal.
yep, it's like win-win-win for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And what has been one of the biggest challenges for your business in the commercial furniture industry? Like, how did you overcome it?
Ooh, biggest challenges. I think this is probably where a lot of viewers could more relate. I think it's less about the furniture side of it in particular and just more about the business side of it. That's definitely the hat that I wear more. Um, for anyone who's familiar, we kind of do the visionary integrator thing. So I'm, I am, sorry, go
Mhm.
ahead.
The EOS system, you mean? Like,
Yes, that's it.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
So, I see you have some books back there. You probably have a book on
yeah, yeah,
EOS.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Traction.
Traction. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, when we started out, I had someone hand me a book. They're like, Rocket Fuel, go read it. And I was like, man, I mean, every book I've ever picked up, I read like halfway through it and put it down and never finish it. Um, it's one of the few books that I read cover to cover. And I quickly realized, I was like, wait a minute, I am definitely the visionary type. And what was cool was my business partner was definitely the integrator type. So um, we had a great team right there that it has been foundational to everything that we do and how we do it. Um, and we don't fully implement the whole EOS method, but the concept definitely helped us get organized pretty quick with like who's doing what and why, right? And
Mhm.
so, yeah, and I actually on that whole tangent, I forgot your original. Oh, the problem yes, okay, biggest problem we overcame. So
Yeah.
it's mostly just the whole business thing, like understanding the game of business and how to grow, how to be efficient. Um, when you start off, someone said also to me that was like I thought something that really stuck was when you're starting out, you have all of the problems and none of the dollars to deal with them. And as you get bigger, right, like you then start having the capital to deal with problems. So it's that startup phase. And in every industry, there's a different revenue range for that, but you you have all the problems and none of the resources to handle it. So it's like learning how to be efficient, learning how to adapt and overcome when you hit those roadblocks, and just figuring out like try and be scrappy and put it together. So um, that was it was, and us being outsiders to the industry, relatively
Mhm.
speaking, right? That was also kind of its own barrier because it's like, I mean, it's not like you're gonna watch a YouTube video, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can if you're a plumber or electrician, but there's nothing on being an office furniture dealer. So, with that, it's like, okay, like how does this even work? Like, what does it look like? Nuts and bolts, like on the back end, like what kind of financial KPIs are we talking about here that are good or bad? What does that even look like? And um, so reverse engineering all of that and trying to do the math, think about stuff like um, that was and still is the hardest part. And you know, finding the right people. I mean, the plumbers complain about it, but it's like, dude, Like, you can just go to the trade network and, like, find plumbers. I mean, no one goes to school to do office furniture, you know what I mean? Like, that's totally different. So, you kinda end up and you have to go for interior design. Like, interior design is not furniture dealer. It's still kinda different. So,
Mhm.
um, it's in what we've seen is it's a niche market, which can be
Mhm.
good and bad. It's a double-edged sword, and handling a niche market, how you attack a niche market is a little different than how you would look at, just your general stuff that the common business models that everyone knows about. Um, it's fun, but it's its own puzzle. And I would say, yeah, the biggest challenge is just working with that. Um,
Mhm.
if we came from big corporate on the furniture side, then we'd probably kind of like have all that stuff ironed out because they've been around for 50 years. But coming in new, you have, it's a fun challenge. You get to figure it out, but you also don't your fresh eyes and you might be able to see things that other people don't see because they're kind of stuck in that world. And well, that's how we've always done it. And
Yep.
we've definitely come across people that were in the this is how it's always been done mentality. And for us, it's like, we're not doing it that way. Like, we could do this way easier some other way. Like, we're not doing that. So um we just focus on developing our own way to do things. And we'll consider the industry stuff, but to be honest, like you're never going to get far playing follow the leader. Um, there's some stuff that people do, but you can't play the same game that someone has when they have unlimited resources. Like, you're not truly playing the same game. So um, coming into it, like, you kind of have to figure out what you're going to do. That you have to be different, and you have to leverage your strengths and work on covering weaknesses. Um, and every model is going to have them. It doesn't matter if you're big or small, you're still going to have limitations and weaknesses. So, um, yeah, for us, talent acquisition, that's kind of like a quick summary on that. Talent acquisition is tough. Um, and developing a business model in a niche market, like, I would say that generally speaking, that's really what you're kind of working with. And I love it. It's fun. I love this stuff. I love business, but it's its own unique challenge. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So, like, in terms of marketing, how does commercial office interiors stand out in a crowded marketplace, and what strategies have been most effective for you?
That's a tough question. That's something that, we're kind of in the process of really trying to crack. Like, I kind of, I won't say that I know unless I'm like very confident that I know. And that's something that, like, I don't know. I think marketing is so like,
Huge.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. I mean,
Yeah. It's consistently changing, and yeah.
it's kind of like if you ask a real estate agent, like, who's your target market? They're like, everyone, anyone. It could be anyone. It's like, we do business with government, we do business with hospitals, we do business with schools, higher ed, and K through 12. The global 500 companies, the mom and pop shop. So it's like, I mean, you could play it could be anyone game. Um, it really comes down to refining that and having a specific message for a specific crowd. Uh,
Mhm.
so that's kind of like I think where, who do we want to be very specific about, um, to go after and have very clear branding towards them. Every business model eventually has to decide what they're going to specialize in. And then once they're larger, you can kind of play the diversification game. You know, when you start out, it's kind of more or less like, if it moves, shoot it. Cause like, like,
Mhm.
we're not waiting around. We're not gonna be like, no, we're not doing business with you. Like, that's crazy. Like, yes, we will fix your problems. So, yeah, it kind of, it, it depends a lot. And for us, we're still trying to iron that out. We, because the other factor is, like, we also want to enjoy doing business with the teams we work with. So
Mhm.
there's some clients that have been our target market, but we're like, we're not going to work. Like, this guy's. a complete pain. Like there's no. So we've said no and we've fired clients before, but for the most part, right now it's like we want to have fun and work with fun people. Eventually getting super specific will be very important, and we're working towards that, and developing something very clear. But when we were looking into the kind of stuff that you guys do, I mean, your reputation in this marketplace is definitely pretty solid. Like your background, if the viewers haven't looked at it, like the the kind of stuff that you guys have done is definitely impressive. And that was part of the conversation that it kind of drew me in, was like, okay, yeah, like, let's talk marketing, because, you know, especially someone that's specialized in the furniture world, very different than everything else. Because
Yeah.
you have the e-commerce and then you have the non-e-commerce companies. And it sounds like you guys have a lot of good experience with both. So, um, yeah, when it comes to developing that target market with specific language and branding, and then just being able to reach them in an effective way, um, you know, I can't say that that's like a super talent of mine, but
Mhm.
it's necessary for business. Like you have to do it. So, if you don't have that particular skill set, a lot of times you have to look elsewhere and to bring in that team specialist that can support you. Um, I
Mhm.
think honestly, with you guys, that's very much what you do, and that's something that like we probably need to bring you in to help us develop. To be honest, and kind of refine.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely always there is room for improvement, online for businesses and it's like something that you can leverage, with the right partner. It's very, very easy. Yeah. And yeah. And like doing everything in house, it doesn't work. No, don't even try it. Yeah. You just waste your money and time. And yeah, because it's getting more complicated. There are tons of tools in the market, and the a- advertisement platforms are like expensive than like when I started in 2019. It was not like that. We can get views, clicks by pennies, but now it's like dollars. So yeah, because the competition is high, still people want to expand their market share, the big players especially. So as a small business owners, we need to be careful when it comes to spending our hard-earned money. And my question is like, how do you approach client relationships? Like, what is the secret to building, long-term repeat business in your industry? It's important for you. Like, if you have a partner, you want to do business again and again, right?
Yes,
So, yeah.
that's a great question. I think that is really the core of business.
Hmm.
Is It's about your clients. I mean, if you don't, yeah, I mean, like, I want to be the guy that just gets stuff done for them. Um, right? Like they have 30 minutes, they bring you on. Are you wasting my time? And I definitely don't want to be the team that comes on and just like wastes their time and like putzes around and all that. Like that drives me crazy. Like,
Hmm.
when I hop on a call with a vendor and it's like they don't even know what they're doing, it's like, dude, I don't have time for this. Like, you know what I mean? Um, in that same way, when we show up, we want to be prepared for them, and we want to come with a lot of the right questions and background info that we need to be properly briefed, so that when we're on that call, we're going through everything with them in with some sort of process. Um, like I some and a lot of the people that are the creative types, process does not come naturally or as naturally. So sometimes it's hard. You'll get, people on calls and they're like all over the place. They're here, they're this. What if we did that? And it's like, okay, we got to take all this and like bring it into something that's actionable and clear and concise and defined. We need parameters. We need, follow up items. Like we got to take the this and bring it into something that's actionable. And that's my objective on a call, is get my team the critical information and build an actionable plan for them in as minimal time as possible. And that has been right. Like, so we don't waste their time. And so my focus is like, when you get on a call with us, you expect to have something done. Like you expect to have like a plan. And
Yeah.
um, some people show up with like nothing for us. And you know, so the guys joke sometimes because they're like, I don't they're like, how did you come up with something from that? Like there was nothing. And it's like we just have to we gotta get good at adding value, right? Being able to create value. That's why they bring us in because
Mhm.
they don't know what they're doing. And they're like, what am I supposed to do? And that's where we figure out for them what they actually need, how to actually do it, and order furniture from foreign manufacturers, not mess it up, get it installed on the time that they need it to, even after things have changed, like budget, timelines, the lease agreement, like, all this stuff, take all those variables and just get it done for them. So, um, yeah, why we keep clients is because that's our goal is to add value and to come in and get the job done. And because that's
Mhm.
ultimately like why they would pay us to do it instead of trying to figure it out themselves. Um,
Mhm.
if they can just do it themselves, then like, yeah, forget the dealer model. But um, I think, dealers in general have gotten very good at this. And it's
Mhm.
why the industry leans on the dealers because they need the guys that can just, figure out what's happening. Um, yeah, that's why the manufacturers don't even go direct. They don't want to. Like, they don't have the staff, they don't have the time. The it's just way too much work. So
Mhm.
they rely on the dealers. The reps rely on the dealers. Um, the the core of the entire industry is really around the furniture dealers, and everyone thinks it's. I mean, people in the industry, I think, know that very well, but everyone outside the industry is always trying to like cut out the middleman. Um, I think at least for us at our level, I think we've done a very good job um, of adding value and making it clear why there's a middleman and why they add value.
Yeah.
Um, and that's really core because like if you don't need a middleman, cut them out. But if they can do something that you can't do, and it ends up relieving, you know, immense headache and boo boos and costs and, all sorts of stuff that happens when a project runs over, then it becomes kind of invaluable. And it's like, you'd be crazy to not just go through a dealer. Like, you know what I mean? So
Mhm.
we want to be the solution for a client where it's like, you would kind of be crazy to not just kind of have them do it. Um,
Mhm.
and that's where, yeah, bringing that value to the table and making it very clear the problem that we're going to fix for you and how we're going to fix it, when it's going to get done by, and then being able to stick
Mhm.
to it and just follow through and execute. Um, when they see that once, they're like, all right, yeah, I like that. And then it just comes real quick. They just send us stuff and they're just like, new location. Here we go. They already know the process and we just crush it for them again and they're happy. So that's like, being able to add value and execute for clients.
Wow. Yeah. So, and when they grow, you grow as well, right? They're gonna do business with you. When it comes to opening a new location, definitely you will be the person. You know.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
if not, they'll find the guy that's good. And, that's the
Yeah.
thing is like you just hopefully the end users always find the team that's the best
Yep.
fit for them. And
Yeah.
hopefully
You
that's
should.
us. But
You should be the guy. Yeah. Yeah. And like, let's talk about uh latest tech trends. Like, are there any product innovations in office furniture that you are particularly excited about, or that you think will be a game changer in the industry? You
so
mentioned about AI just a little bit, but
yeah, so I think this is where as an outsider, I mean, when I came in, I was like, why is this industry like the technological dark ages? I mean,
Mhm.
there's a lot of stuff that's like, uh, I mean, like there should be technology for this. Is like
Mhm.
my first thing for I'm like, what are we doing? It's kind of bad. Like I would invite more players into the game for the software development side because it's kind of sad. It's not that good.
Mhm.
You know, yeah, the software solutions. What am I excited about? I started off disappointed. I was like, It's a niche industry. I mean, but it's also a multi-billion dollar market, and there is big money in it, but no one knows about the industry. It's like just super niche. So people don't focus on it. And there's definitely a large need for software solutions that are good. Um,
Mhm.
so, I would start with that. What am I excited about? A shuffle button. Truthfully, like I want my own shuffle button. And
Mhm.
it's, the manufacturers that are developing that with, and I forget the name of the company. It's hopefully it comes to me by the end of the call and I'll throw it out there. But there's a few companies that are trying to do like smart layout designers like that. Um,
Mhm.
they're okay. Um, it's early, but and some of the manufacturers are very smart to get in on that early. I encouraged manufacturers to get in on that because I'm like, you want to be ahead of the curve and get that partnership solidified. Some of them didn't want to do it and they didn't understand the value. And I was like, what? Like, so that, because if you give someone a shuffle button, it's going to completely rearrange the industry. And the manufacturers that are trying to lock that in are very smart because they don't want the shuffle button to go into certain hands. So certain manufacturers want to be on the shuffle button and they don't want other manufacturers in on it because they know it'll happen really quickly. They'll go out of
Mhm.
business.
Mhm.
So I tried to explain this to some guys but like they just don't get it. So I'm like, all right, well, we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's what am I looking forward to? Um, Streamlined systems that are better. The ERP that we use, there's some good ERPs out there, but the one that we use looks like Windows 2000. Um, I told them it's ugly. They were proud of it, and I'm like, guys, it's objectively ugly. Like, so it's stuff like that. The shuffle button. I think the software company that does a shuffle button really well is going to be worth a lot of money. And the smart design software that is developed right now is good. But for them, like they'll be out of business too if someone can do a shuffle button. And I don't understand why they're not, that they're worried about these patch updates and, all this sort of stuff. It's like your R&D team should be trying to do the shuffle thing first because they're so fundamental to everything the dealer does, but they're not really accommodating that function. And yeah, it's hard to do. Um, Not all the manufacturers have all of their data in those smart files, which again, for them, they're like, well, it's expensive. But I'm like, well, it's also expensive to not do it because
Yeah.
when dealers go into spec stuff, they're trying to use the smart functions so you don't mess it up with the millions of SKUs per company. I mean, like, I want to drag a desk and have the right parts on it. Um, if you can't do that, you're way behind the game. Um, and again, if you can't do that, we're not specing your stuff. So it's like,
Yeah.
if you need us to sell it, it's like, don't make it rocket science for me too. You know what I mean? Like there's other guys that it's
Mhm.
not rocket science. So you know, the companies that kind of come together for this stuff, they have to understand that if they're going to rely on the dealer, make our life easier. And the companies that I mean, money flows where there's the least friction. And that's how business works. And if you reduce friction at the dealer level, then you're going to make a lot of money. You're going to have a good solution. And
Mhm.
so my call out to the industry is like, can we figure out how to reduce friction at the dealer level and make life easier? Um, if you can, then you'll bring in a lot of dollars and you'll be worth a lot of money because you'll have all the dealers. Um,
Mhm.
we see organizations that have a lot of dealers, but I don't think that they really kind of leverage the amount of influence at their fingertips to the fullest extent. Which I've talked to some of them and I've had some thoughts, and they, I don't know if they really see it. I'm like, I mean, if I had that much data, I would probably
Mhm.
do something else with it. But you
I
know,
see.
for whatever reason, they like it the way they like it. The problem is if you don't innovate, you're going to fall behind. And if you're the biggest fish, you're only the biggest for so long until someone's out innovated you. So, I mean, if you're not always trying to reinvest and figure out what you're doing next, um,
Mhm.
which is hard, but you better have a good visionary on board or find one, um, so that you can get ahead of the curve and stay ahead. Um, and that's really what I see kind of happening is people are fighting for that shuffle button. And
Mhm.
I'd say that's the most interesting because that is the number one factor that will drive manufacturers out of business, um, completely change how dealers can scale and necessary headcount to take on, you know, the type of project loads that they're going to try to. And it, yeah, it'll change software companies, dealer size, and manufacturers. All three could have big changes if someone can do a shuffle button, right? So
Yep.
kind of a weird. I don't know if people want to talk about that in the industry, but it could also put designers out of business. Um, which so the people designing it have to be very careful because they need buy-in from the industry without
Yeah.
also creating something that people know will put the industry out of business. So, um, it's very political, but
Yeah.
I'm watching it happen, and it's like, man, whoever does the shuffle button thing is going to be pretty good. So I'll throw it out there. Maybe someone will figure it out, and they can come call us.
Yep. Yep. Sure. Wow. There's a great opportunity over there, and yeah, and so as a leader of your company, commercial office interiors, like how do you stay motivated and how do you inspire your team, to stay motivated and deliver world class service to your clients? It's hard, I know. You know,
It is.
people want to sleep, don't want to get out of the bed, but you know, you should keep doing, keep going, and and you need to push your team as well. It's not easy.
No, um, no, it's not. And I would say, I mean, dialing for dollars. I mean, if there's something that kind of puts you back into the right mindset again, that makes you hungry and keeps you, focused on the
Mhm,
next thing. Dialing for dollars.
mhm,
Everyone hates it, but it's actually pretty awesome. Like the side effects are great. I mean, if you spend some time just like trying to stay trying to be the driver for new business. And, you know, because what happens is you just get amped up when there's something on the table. And, I've talked to some business consultants that started, grew, and exited multiple companies. And they're like, you pay next project. Like, you know what I mean? Like next project, next project, next
yeah,
project. Like just keep going. Don't stop. Don't look at it. You didn't get it. Who cares? Next project. And being able to focus the team on that, where it's like, hey, like we're all rowing same direction, right? We got new stuff on the horizon. There's big things we're going for. Like let's attack the day. Next project. This is the goals. This is where we're trying to be. This is why we're doing it. This is why we have these standards, right? It's because we're going to be able to do X, Y, and Z, then we're going to do this, right? And just like naturally, the visionary type lives in Tomorrowland. So it's kind of
mhm,
easier to kind of do that stuff. Um, but you need a really solid integrator that can live in today land and, actually make the stuff happen. So it's both. I talk about tomorrow and my partner's always talking about today. And it's like, okay, if we address the today stuff, right? Like I'm thinking next project, but he's thinking like this project and like, never mind the next project. I want to do this. So we finish this project. There's always a next this project. So that's really what's key is keeping everybody focused up so that we don't get, because man, with some of these clients, like you can spend way too much time with them and then it falls through and it's like, man, this project was worth, a few 100,000. It was so much time and energy. And then like, it's just on hold. And it's like, man, like that's no fun, but hey,
mhm,
don't even worry about it because when we're talking about the next, company that's coming in, we're trying to get this next deal. That's like a whale account. Then it's like, all right, who cares? We got another few 100,000 on the table and like, all right, we forgot about the last one. So, um, you know, the next big win is a really good focus and it just keeps everybody dialed in for what that means for the company, for where we're going, for what we're doing. Um, and if we get it right, it changes everybody's take home pay. So it's like,
Mhm.
let's just, positive attitude, but show up and be a professional, and let's get after the next big thing and figure out how to do it. Cause it's like, no one knows how to do it. Um,
Yeah.
being a business owner, it's like, man, there's days that everyone wakes up and they're like, what am I even doing? I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, and like, like you own a business. It's like, sometimes I don't even know what that means. Like I do the weirdest stuff and my schedule is like chopped up, and people ask me what I do. And I'm like, dude, we don't even have enough time to like, I don't even know. Sometimes I don't even know, but just staying connected to sales and next project, next deals. Like, what are we talking
Mhm.
about that's keeping everybody amped to like show up to work and to crush it. You know, and then yeah, keeping that vision nailed down for everybody so they kind of they see what we're doing and we can all move in that direction. And if we do, then it's like that's where everyone gets the attaboys and
Mhm.
we're doing the right thing. And even if it's a small job, who cares? It's a win. And if you get the big job, it's awesome. But if we're losing it, who cares? Because we won some small jobs too. So it's like, like just it's the it's always next
My
project. And they said,
mindset. Yep.
yes, yes. Um, all the consultants like always recommended that. They're just like, I don't know, man, like sales is the lifeblood of the company. Stay connected to it. And when you get lost in the sauce and you come back to sales, you like refine your footing. And you're like, oh yeah, I remember everything. Like everything gets back into priority and it just all like goes back to flowing. So um, like it's easy to get sucked away, but coming back to that is really where um yeah, you're gonna be inspiring again. You're gonna get everyone fired up again. And that's like what moves the needle and keeps it in motion. So going back to that is key if you ever get sucked away.
Mhm, mhm. So your partner's focus is like more day-to-day activities, operations, and you're on strategic vision, mostly like as a visionary in your team. And yeah. And what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs like who are looking to start a business in the furniture or office interiors industry?
Mm, it's a good question. I don't um in our industry, I mean,
Hmm. Like you may think about your early days, and this is like your business. Like it's not new and well known in the industry, but it didn't happen in a day, so it took time. But for new, starters, like what would you give to other entrepreneurs as an advice?
I would say, I mean, a lot of times it's leverage. I mean,
Leverage.
you just got to get good at figuring out leverage. And it's hard to give specific examples because it is always case by case, but ultimately, like, I see your Alex Hormozy books in the back. So, like you need a good high power lever to pull on. And if it's not money, when you're big, you have dollars. So it's like, all right, I mean, we just, you have a pretty good lever with dollars, but when you don't have a lot of money, then it's like, all right, now you're talking more like hard skills, soft skills. You're talking knowledge and understanding and, wisdom. So it's like you just have to get good with what you got and being scrappy and being able to figure out how things work and then being realistic about you got to be real. You can't lie to yourself. Like there's things that you're good at and there's things that you suck at. And that's something that I learned really quick getting into everything is because everyone tries to do everything and they quickly figure out what they're terrible at. And like just own that. Like own that and figure out how to plug that hole. But you need to do what you're good at. And then you need to lever that up so that for the little input that you put in, it better have a pretty good output. And you have to find that lever where, you're efficient because you're good at what you're good at. And you got to lean into that, figure out how to build levers to give you more pull when you're kind of doing stuff and spending your time. So it's spent wisely. So, a lot of times software, like if man, there's like AI bots now. Like, all
Mhm.
right, if you don't need to hire someone, maybe figure out AI bots. Like, you know, all of the information that you could possibly need is either in an AI model or sitting on YouTube. Like, get smarter. The
Yeah.
biggest fish are stuck in bureaucracy, in status quo. The best thing about being new is that there's no rules, there's no standards, it's just sandbox. So it's like, try it, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, you have no overhead. So just try it, get smarter, figure it out. Find another way to do it. Find 3 other ways to do it. And in the process of that, you eventually, like, I'm an optimizer. Eventually
Mhm.
you keep finding like kind of the better way to do it. And you spend some money to get there, but like I said, if you optimize around your skill set and you can build a really good lever, then your input is a really nice output. And then you're doing something better than other people. So, like, figure out what you're going to do, figure out what you're not going to do, because that sometimes is more helpful. And, and then figure out how to do it well and level up with software and, information. And I mean, I don't even know if it really comes down to the right manufacturers because I don't think that like it matters like all that much.
Mhm.
It's helpful, but you don't have to be an aligned dealer to make money in this industry. And there's other problems that come with being an aligned dealer. So the guys that advise the aligned dealers straight up told us, I asked them, I was like, if you were to be an aligned dealer or an independent, which one would you pick and why? And they were like, oh, I'd be an independent all day long. I was like, interesting. So
Mhm.
there's I mean, it's hard, but nothing easy is worth doing anyways. So, and if you're good at the hard stuff, then like that ends up being a really good barrier to entry. So, um, yeah, I mean, just getting smarter. You gotta, if you don't have extra dollars, then you better have, you know, I don't know, extra knowledge, extra efficiency. I mean, just get smarter about it and figure out how you're gonna attack your area and based on what's working, what's not working, being efficient with money. Um, that's really what it is. And you end up building that team and systems around your strengths. And you might have to buy things in to supplement your weaknesses. But as long as you build a good lever, then in the beginning, you'll find out really like dollar input equals bigger dollar output. And
Mhm.
then you're kind of there and you're starting to build that money machine. And if you build a good money machine, then you'll have the resources to then play the resource game better. And, you know, I mean, Monopoly is always easy when you have all the hotels. So, you
Yeah.
know, but when you don't have hotels, it's like, don't step on any landmines, right? Like, don't hit a hotel. Uh, and
Yeah.
you got to figure out which properties you want to buy and why. So, like, I mean, I think that analogy is usually beat dead, but our rules are no landmines and I don't know, level up, get better, spend more time. It's gonna everything in business takes longer, costs more money, and is significantly harder than you initially thought it would be. So as long as you go into it with that mentality and understand that and prep for it, um, and really look at it like, okay, there's probably something I don't know about this. So I'm gonna, keep trying to understand here and massage this. Um, as long as you keep those assumptions in mind, like you're usually pretty good because everyone's like, oh, it only costs this much and it'll only take this long. No, that's a lie. Like everyone does their best, but it's just not true. It'll cost more. It takes longer. I mean, it's the nature of business. So you always have to plan on that. And yeah, don't step on any landmines.
Yeah. Especially on what was it? Broadwalk, like the dark blue
Boardwalk.
one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hit that. That was a tough one.
Yeah. All right. And my last question is like, what is next for commercial office interiors? Are there any exciting projects or innovations you are working on that you'd like to share with our audience?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, yeah, I mean, we're working on some cool projects with some private equity firms that are kind of doing some multi-floor stuff. So, I mean, that's cool. But I mean, we are on a call with a, you know, defense manufacturer doing some top secret stuff with planes. Like, I mean, I think I don't know. I mean, what's a fun job? Sometimes it's the company, sometimes it's the people,
Mhm,
and it's more than just like the furniture. So, I mean, some of our favorite clients, like we do a bunch of random stuff for. Um, we just had to go out to New York, just even like I think it was like a month ago. We had to go
mhm,
out like last minute for something to do this project for someone, and that was really cool. Um, some skyscraper stuff in Georgia and Boston, also pretty cool. So it, I don't know. I mean, it depends. I'm trying to think if there's something like really cool. I mean, I don't know how you spice up furniture. Like it's furniture at the end of the day, but the space coming together is cool. The feedback when people are excited that the space is like worth coming, it's worth the drive to go to work. That's great to hear. Um, And then just hearing what clients do, like, it inevitably comes up like, what do you guys even do? Like, it pick some random name and it's like, what does that even mean? And you dive into it and it's like, oh, this is actually, I didn't even know you can make money in that. But like, of course you can, like, um, so you come across cool people doing cool stuff and it's mostly about them. Um, you know, we've gotten to do fun things with business owners, going out to dinners. You know, yeah, I mean, it all depends. Our whole industry is out at NeoCon right now, so we didn't go
mhm,
this year, we skipped, but, like, that kinda stuff's awesome. In the future, we'll probably see if we can bring clients out there and just share that with them because it's so unique and cool for the industry. Um, but, yeah, I would say, fun people. It's all about the people. I mean, even if the company's cool, sometimes you get, like, people that just aren't fun to work with, like, I don't wanna
mhm,
do this." So, you know, fun people doing cool stuff is kinda where it doesn't get boring,
mhm,
and that's our favorite. So, I would say more so than the project is, like, the people. That's what we look for, and if you're cool, then, like, come do business with us, like, that's what I'm talking about, you know? Um, so yeah, that's where we're at.
oh, yeah, and, like, lastly, would you like to share your contact information if our audience, wanna reach out to you, like
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so yeah, you threw the website out there. Commercial
Mhm,
Office Interiors, that's the company name. I'm Joe Aiello, and I'm one of the co-founders. Josh is the other one, and you know, yeah, you're welcome to hit us up on LinkedIn, DM me.
mhm,
Um, I think that's probably the easiest way to find us. But if you search us up, I mean, I don't. You can hit me up on Facebook if you want, I guess. But yeah, we're always looking to work with more people. We
mhm,
love new clients, but we love new employees too. And I think we're just a unique company. We do things different. There's a lot of flexibility. We're all running custom PCs, as many monitors as you want. Everyone picked at their own custom desk setup, so everyone's rocking private offices. I mean, it's like it's really about like we're here to do business and be professionals, but like, all right, I'm not gonna hate my life either. You know what I mean? Like, a monitor's $200. Like, I think it's crazy that people only work with like two monitors. Like, my partner has six. I mean, whatever gets the like, if we're gonna do this, like, let's do it right. And so that's kind of that's how we like to work. And so I love to throw it out there for designers. If you just want to work with a really fun team that's doing fun stuff. Um,
mhm,
I mean, in the summer, we're outside on lunch break. I mean, I'll walk around this warehouse without a shirt on, just enjoying the sun, taking some calls, calling clients. You know what I mean? That's the kind of I mean, yeah, there's no women that work at the company, so there's no, like, HR stuff right now, but, it's a bunch of dudes in a warehouse, but, for I won't do that if that changes, but the that's kind of the idea. I mean, we were joking around about getting a hot tub on, a couple four-wheel dollies so we can roll it out in the fall and enjoy the stars. I mean, just, you know, we like to have fun here, and that's kind of the bottom line, and people personalize their space. And it's just, we want to work with competent people that are fun and get the stuff done. And at that point, it's like, all right, I mean, if we can do that, then I mean, let's have fun too, company dinners, we go to Neocon. The rule is you get the most expensive thing on the menu. Why? Because where else would you do that? Like no one actually does that. So like when we go out, like that's what we want to do. We have a company dinner. It's like, yeah, whatever the most expensive steak is, you should probably get that. And then whatever they tell you to pair with it for a wine, it's probably also the most expensive thing. Perfect.
Wow.
That's because where else do you get to have fun like that? I mean, that's like
Mhm,
we crush these projects. That's the kind of stuff that makes it fun and worth it and unique. And, you know, um, yeah. So as we grow, we want to pick the right people for the team so that we're having fun. And if
mhm,
that's something that's like, yeah, I want to do that. Like, I know that I can do this stuff,
mhm,
XYZ, work with clients. I just want a fun company to work with where I'm paid. I get benefit. We have top tier benefits. And where we get to have fun. I get to do my own thing. If you can show
mhm,
up and be a professional and crush, then like, yeah, hop on board. You know what I mean? Like, join the fun team. Life's short. You know what I mean? Like, let's
yeah,
let's make money and have fun. So, yeah, that's kind of LinkedIn website. Everyone hit us
mhm,
up. Submit your applications. Like, let's talk about working with us and becoming a
mhm,
partner, employee. Whatever. Like, yeah, fun people doing fun stuff.
mhm. And you're also open to partnering with other commercial office,
Oh yeah, yeah.
companies, right? Yeah.
Love collaborating. We've done some
Yeah.
work with teams all over the country, like other dealers that needed local support. Um,
Mhm,
you just need a local team to oversee your project. Like, yeah, absolutely. Like, we can be support for that. Um, and then also just collaboration. Like, there's some think tank groups that are like only for the aligned dealers, and it's like, man, whatever. Like, well, like let's set something up around the country and put our heads together and get smart. Like, there's a lot of guys making a lot of money, and you
mhm,
can make good money in the industry, but like market share, like there's plenty of market share to attack, and in everybody's local market. You know what I mean? Like, we're not really competing with a guy in Florida, Arizona, even in Pennsylvania. Like, us in New Hampshire, even
mhm.
New York, like we're talking very different markets. So, um, plenty of room to collaborate without stepping on anyone's toes.
Sure.
And I mean, let's let's get smart and go after the guys making hundreds of millions a year. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they can share.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for participating, in Furniture Success podcast. I really enjoyed it, and hopefully our audience will love it. So yeah, and also like I just want to mention about my book. It's
Yes.
available on Amazon today, and definitely you will get your signed copy next week. I think like it's going to be um with you, and if you are interested in furniture marketing, or if you need a gift, for someone, people in furniture industry, um, please, you can buy it on Amazon, or if you, I'll order 100 copies, author copies, and I'll give it for free, and I'll personally sign it. And for our listeners, like if you want to get a free copy, go to furnituremarketingpros.com and fill out the form, and I'll ship it to you for free by signing your name. uh and would you like to add something, Joe, like one last
Yeah,
thing?
I'm super excited for the book. I remember your team was mentioning that you had like just come out with it, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna send you out a copy." And I was like, "Nice, let's go." So, um, super excited to dive into that. And yeah, I might just scoop a few copies to hand out to some people. Um, I have to think about who's gonna. I might just send it in the mail and send it in. There's some cool people in the industry that I think, would definitely be worth having on the podcast, so that might
Mhm.
just be a cool way to connect you guys, and,
Sure.
yeah, congrats on writing a book. I mean, that's definitely
Yeah.
not a small endeavor.
Yeah, and
Um,
it is my second language, Joe. Like it was tough.
it's yeah,
Yeah.
that's impressive. That's good.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful
Yeah,
day.
Amit,
Yeah.
a pleasure. Thank you very much for having us on the podcast. And yeah, I'm definitely excited to be following you guys and everything that you're doing. So thank you again. And it was great connecting, my man.